Hey guys, long time no hear. This is That Mask Guy, and we're back, with a new episode of the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. Tonight we'll be talking about Pokemon Go, the Joker, and the Icelandic Festival in Gimli, Manitoba. So you know what? Come right back. We're gonna hit the music.
Welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. Of course, I am Captain Fizz.
And greetings once again from the 7th moon of thunder. I am That Mask Guy.
Yes, you are. And today...
you know what, guys, sorry, it's kind of trying to get back into the, hop back in the saddle after being off for a couple weeks dealing with, personal stuff.
Yes, but we are back, and we are better than ever.
No, we're not. But we're going to have fun trying.
Oh, dang right we are. So, we have lots to talk about. Of course, Pokemon is, once again, still a huge phase in everyone's life. There's lots of good stories coming, out of that, of course. We're going to talk about this new Joker theory.
It's not a theory. They
whatever,
actually brought
it's a
this
theory.
up on the comics recently.
It's a theory on whether or not it'll work. And it's when it comes to DC, it's always a tease whether or not they actually go through with what they're talking about or not. At the same point, we are going to talk about the Icelandic Festival out in Gimli this past weekend. It was the wrapping up of the entire festival, the parade on Monday, and it was, of course, a long weekend up here in Canada.
Well, yes, I think... Wasn't it a long weekend down in the States as well?
No, not according to my work.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, of course it wasn't a long enough weekend, but hey, who's complaining? Of course me.
You all the time. What are you talking about?
I complain about complaining. So, might as well jump right into Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, which I think I went off in... mentioned on Twitter that it's sort of taking over my life a little bit, kind of.
Sort of, well, maybe, kind of, yes.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the fact that I actually was able to go, throughout the entire day and not, have the urge to play Pokemon until about 10 seconds before I, saw you today is pretty impressive, I think. Maybe, I was really expecting some withdrawal symptoms and didn't have any.
You're going to have those moments. There's going to be times where you don't want to play, and sometimes you really want to. Me, more than anything, I really, really, really enjoy watching the yellow glitch leave the game. And if you don't know what the yellow glitch is, it's any time that Instinct holds the gym. As Team Valor, I am obligated to take it down. It is my duty. And there's actually a picture that I saw today, and it's going back to the old Pokemon days. And it kind of explains a bit more on what the colors actually mean. Not just, the gym leaders, who really, to me, don't actually do anything for me in terms of nostalgia and all that. But if you go back to some of these old episodes, you had Misty, Brock, and Ash standing side by side. You had Ash wearing, his usual red. You had Misty wearing blue, and you had Brock wearing yellow. So it is kind of ironic that you'll have only 3 teams in Pokemon Go of those 3 colors.
Well, I mean, and interestingly enough, Team Blue is called Team Mystic.
Yes, exactly. And
so,
and you look at
is it a play on words, perhaps?
It very much is. And you look at even Team Valor, right? It's the color and the style and all that, and even how they describe their leader. It is really, really familiar of how Ash Ketchum actually is in Pokemon, and throughout these years. So it's very nostalgic when you kind of look at it that way.
Well, if definitely if you look at it that way, I mean, there's definitely I don't know necessarily whether Misty really fits in with the whole idea behind Team Mystic, but I could definitely see Brock, fitting in with that particular team.
Oh, exactly. Very, very similar. And all that, very helpful, very out there.
Very much into the study of Pokemon.
Yeah,
he wants to be a Pokemon chef and everything.
And well, not only that, he wanted, he also wanted to be a Pokemon breeder, along the way as well. So he really was intuitive on his Pokemon instinct. And yes, I'm using that word for a reason. He pretty much is instinct, as Ash was always Valor. He was always destined, to be the best. He, wanted to be the number one Pokemon trainer. He wanted to, be the one that everyone recognizes. And I think Team Valor pretty much explains that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that at all. I guess, I don't know. I was very interested, in this game. And, I was, when I first started playing this, I thought, okay, this is going to, maybe this will be a lot like, the actual Pokemon games where you can only catch certain Pokemon in specific places, but it's really weird, to, in my area where there isn't a speck of water and I'm going off and catching, like, Goldines and Magikarps. I was honestly, I was expecting that you would find, water Pokemon near water and, grass Pokemon near grass, and pretty much bird Pokemon all over the damn place.
Yeah, and they've made it very accessible for the ordinary people, the ones who ordinarily aren't heavy walkers, who don't walk around a lot of the time, and all this stuff, and even like a lot of people were questioning when you were driving, if you'd be able to catch as many Pokemon and things like that. I can fully say that while you're in the car, I have actually caught more Pokemon than when I was walking.
I don't know. I've caught some really good Pokemon when I've been walking. As we're going to discuss and later on in the show, in Gimli, Manitoba was the Icelandic Festival. My wife has got quite a bit of family out there, and so we went out Sunday night to visit and spend the night. And we actually went down near the docks area, and we just sat there with a bunch of other people, and we were catching Pokemon that we hadn't even seen, and several different ones. Well, I mean, I caught an Ekans down there in particular. The next day after the during the parade itself, I caught an Execute, which was pretty big for me, anyways. I mean, it was amazing because we actually caught more, different types of Pokemon during that that 48 hours that we were in Gimli, Manitoba, than we had in in several days leading up to that trip here in Winnipeg.
So I have to ask this because I think this is a big question that a lot of people are wondering over the last little while, and definitely asking other people. As people who like yourself and me who work all day basically, do you find that going Pokemon hunting is actually one of the most relaxing activities you can find yourself doing?
I think it's kind of relaxing. I'll oftentimes when I'm taking my dog for a walk, I got my phone out, and even if I don't catch anything, it's just it's nice. I know my dog gets a little frustrated with me when I stop to go off in to catch something, particularly when it's the upteen Pidgey of the night.
Curse those Pidgeys.
Curse those Pidgeys. I don't know if they're necessarily that bad everywhere else, but they're really bad here in Winnipeg for whatever reason.
Infestation of the Pidgeys.
Yeah, no kidding. But I mean, it's quite relaxing. On Sunday morning before we went out to Gimli, I took my son for like a walk for an hour. and I can't necessarily say that I caught a lot of Pokemon on there, but it was nice. It was a nice long walk. I did manage to hatch an egg. I don't remember what I got, so obviously it wasn't that good. But it wasn't a Pidgey at least.
And of course, like a lot of the concerns people had was that everyone was going to be focused on their phones. There'd be less communication with families. You would get out more, but you wouldn't communicate. You wouldn't talk. You wouldn't, acknowledge what's around you. Do you actually, feel that's truth now, or do you think that's kind of full of it?
Well, you know what? I mean, there's stories that are coming out. Allegedly, someone went off and killed, a friend of his down in the States because he caught like a Pikachu or something. I don't know. There was talk about a couple of young boys who the Border Patrol, went off and discovered, trying to catch Pokemon in a ditch between Canada and the United States and had to call their mother to come pick them up.
And I think that's more, not so much just because of the game. I think that's, at the same point though, like when kids start playing, whether it's Pokemon Go or something else, right? You get lost in a different universe, and as you're walking that, you can't. There's not really a whole lot of signs that say, okay, you're not you're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Well, no kidding. But I mean, there's a lot of stories that are coming out. My wife just recently told me about a little boy who was outside in nothing but a t-shirt and a diaper, and walked outside in the backyard while his parents were all Pokemon hunting and stuff. So I mean, we're hearing a lot of negative stuff, and my in-laws in particular don't have anything nice to go off and to say about it. I know that almost every when we were leaving to go home yesterday, my wife turns to me and says, every one of my family is against this game. They all think that, it's dangerous to go off and play the game, that people are going to cause accidents.
And see, what I find funny about this, and I really have to reiterate this, it is not the game that is putting people into danger, it's the people themselves. We have this thing, basically, we hand off, whoever's driving, you hand off the phone. You're still playing, you're still getting, the Pokemon you want and all that, but someone else is playing for it, and that's not a bad thing.
Oh, no, absolutely not. My wife and I, we routinely do that. Where I'm driving, and she's got phones in both hands. And
I find by doing that, especially, for you and your wife, it is really, really huge on communication. It's like, okay, Pokemon pops up. Do you want this? Do you need this?
Yeah.
And not just while you're driving, but we're at the parks, you're hearing people talk, and I think this is what's missing is the media and all and everybody is so focused on the negative aspect on everything that they are completely ignoring the positive points.
Absolutely, my mother and father who while they probably don't get it, they do. I mean, they encourage my wife and I to go for walks on this. And my mom was actually telling me these stories that she heard, not the negative stuff, but the positive stuff about how people are meeting while playing Pokemon Go and actually have started dating and started having relationships because of this. I mean, we're in an era where we want to concentrate on the negative, but there's so much positive stuff on there. It's encouraging people to get out and going for walks. And I'm seeing fathers and sons, mothers and daughters going out and playing, just walking around and chatting in this.
Yeah, I'm seeing families that, ordinarily wouldn't go out that, are encouraged to go out, especially, for ones from, overseas who are very fresh over here. They're very unsure on, their surroundings. All this game has been key on getting them out, introducing them to their neighbors, people in the neighborhood. It has been a huge, huge communication boost. I go to the park very regularly. There's a lot of people there. You tend to have to talk to people. You'll be sitting on a bench and they'll look over at you. They're talking. They're asking. Oh, did you catch something? What did you catch?
Yeah, and absolutely.
When the trading aspect comes in, everything that's been built up to this point will be huge moving forward.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I think this is big. I mean, it amazes me because my wife and I, we're actually finding something that we have in common again. And so, I mean, it's encouraged, conversation between us. It's encouraged us to go do some stuff, I mean, even if we're just gonna go take, the dog and the boy for, a walk around the block to go to, a couple of Pokestops.